Meeting of the Kent County Commissioners to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing as we observe a moment of silence for those dedicated to those individuals who have given ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. Thank you. Okay, we have a letter from the University of Maryland Extension Service. We're having our harvest breakfast scheduled on Saturday, December 9th at 7 a.m. at the Chestertown Volunteer Fire Company. Mid-shore discussion group session is going to be held. Results of the financial focus groups on December 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Caroline County Library in Denton Conference Room, second floor. Refreshments prepared by the Chesapeake Culinary Center. Please RSVP by the 15th to 479-4030. Comcast has notified everyone that while some of the prices may have increased, they're always investing in new technology to drive innovation. So there's going to be, starting December 20th, prices on certain services and fees will be increasing, including broadcast TV fee and regional sports fee. Memorandum from Robert Edler, our inspector for alcohol and tobacco. On November 21st of this year, Paul Brinkley of Smoke, Rattle, and Roll of Chestertown LLC submitted a request to be removed from the establishment's license. Also, Joshua Shonson and Zachary Gibbs of Smoke, Rattle, and Roll of Chestertown LLC were notified on November 27th that Mr. Brinkley was the Kent County qualifier and a suitable replacement is required. That license. We have two sets of minutes, regular minutes and liquor minutes from the 21st.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and second, the aforementioned minutes be approved as submitted. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried unanimously. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay, we have a gaming and raffle permit from the Colchester Community Association for a raffle only. To be fundraising day to be December 9th at 8 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and second that the aforementioned application be approved. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried unanimously. The application for a special Class C license for beer and wine from the Colchester Community Association for a holiday party at the Colchester Community Center on December 9th at between 6 and 9 p.m. Since this is an application for a liquor license requiring a public hearing, anyone have any make any comments for or against the aforementioned application? Hearing none,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
probably move and second the aforementioned application be approved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously. All right. Terry Batchelor, Kent County Forestry Board. Oh, no.
Oh, yes, I was thinking. Greetings, I have a cold, so I'm just going to air shake. Sorry, and I appreciate, I'm actually representing tonight the King County Forestry Board, who, for the 23rd year in a row, is actually donating, on behalf of the board, the Eastern White Pine Wreath go to the pediment at the courthouse, where it has been lighted through the assistance of your Public Works Department, because that's really high up there. And person that donates it wishes to remain anonymous, but it's given on behalf of the Kent County Forestry Board, which we have, our membership is Andy Simmons and Walter Mac McCoy, whose father-in-law, Walter Harris, was one of the longest members of the Forestry Board, and whose dogwood tree is lit outside the door. Becky Renshaw Strong, Noreen Davis, and Ruth Menifee. I simply am the secretary to the board and the one representing them this evening to give to you the pine wreath, which is made from natural greens, so we always say keep it real if you can at Christmas. So, and we thank you for all their support that you give to the Forestry Board for our programs, such as Arbor Day and seedlings given out to citizens each and every year, and what we do to promote the science of forest management in the county. So that's our short and sweet.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
And I think Mr. Bob Merritt will take it and put it up probably in the next day or so. So you'll see it illuminated. And it stays up for a while, I think, even into January. So,
Very good.
thank you for
Thank you.
allowing me to present it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Marty Hale, Director of Human Resources.
Thank you. Okay. First up, we have a retirement recognition for a long-tenured employee in the Parks and Rec, the Grounds Maintenance Department in Public Works, and that's Mr. Greg Welch. So,
Very good.
have 1 minute to get set up, and then
We'll let him stand in front of the camera for a while. Oh, no, come on up. Face up there. Look at the camera, smile. Right there, right behind you. Wait.
Thank you.
I'll do this right and go around it.
Do we have to sign something to let him go?
Sure, why not?
I'm not signing.
And that would be all the retirement paperwork, and I think it's a little too late.
My pleasure to read Greg Welch's employment history. Greg was hired on November the 1st, 1987 as an equipment operator at the Nicholson landfill when it was purchased by the county at an annual salary of $14,200. It's no wonder you're quitting. During his tenure with the county, the landfill was closed and gas and transformed into a drop-off center. During his time in the Public Works Department, Environmental Operations Unit, Greg was a motor equipment operator too, who transported recycling materials to markets and trash to the regional landfill. He also did snow removal for the county buildings and facilities, as well as assisting the roads division with snow removal during inclement weather. He was promoted to crew leader on June 22nd, 2005. On February the 2nd, 2014, he transferred to the Buildings and Grounds Division as a maintenance worker for grounds. Hired from the county on November the 30th after 30 years and 1 month service to the citizens of Kingman. Thank you very much.
Plaque says, Senator Greg Watts Sr., grateful appreciation for years and 1 month of dedicated service to the county. November 1st, 2017. County Ground.
Thank you very much.
And I tell you right now, I think he's out the board grounds. He was a big contributor, and he did a great job out there. I watched him meditate doing things that normally didn't have somebody to do prior to that. He was just about it.
Now, because he looks so young, he will be hired. You know?
After 30 years of service, I would expect to see a little more, right?
There's 5 minutes from that.
Vice the hairdresser.
I think we do have some cake here. Share with all.
I might just add too, that Greg, as Billy said, that Greg was a great employee. We pride ourselves on having some of the best employees anywhere in the state, and Greg certainly was so happy to be honest. All you did for us.
And you did say you're going to come back one more weekend for Jeff Fest at the courthouse, right?
He's hanging the wreath. Isn't he hanging the wreath? Greg, did you see your cake?
There's $1 million inside it.
Joyce Gagowski is still making her cakes, and it says, "Congratulations, Greg. Rest, retire, relax, rest." It is a tractor that has had the mower removed from it, she said. No longer mowing grass, you're just riding a tractor. Do you want to hold it, and they can get you in the picture instead of me?
Hold on.
You didn't even want us to come. You don't want to see that for retiring this many people. It's a nice change.
Very you to me.
You may have this, and you can take this, and you can put this piece of cake to your
Greg, what you going to do, farm? Go back to farming? Or more?
Yeah, everything. What I was supposed to like to pay that.
Right.
Keep this.
Good.
The rest of you, come on up, get these cake. Gentlemen, inside piece, outside piece. It's chocolate tonight.
Oh, yeah, either one. Where you come to first?
Ronnie,
It's fine.
that's fine, yes?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Whatever.
Say, how you gonna maintain your figure?
Thank you.
I'm leaving that in. So I ate that whole sub.
Tom?
I'm not going to refuse cake. Inside piece. Thank you. Yeah, right.
Ladies? Yes.
Mark, do what the woman says.
Generous.
Do what the woman says.
Thank you.
Well, I misjudged what it cut, so I have one little.
Marianne, how are you, hon? Good to see you. Yeah.
That one that I threw out, and
Damn, I'm testing them all and seeing if all their cell phones are on. I was trying to get one of them in trouble with Sandra. That's being
See this one?
trying to get the ringers to go off.
Anybody else here for Katie?
I'm liable to be.
Don?
And Diane, a big fan.
That was a push.
On your piece of cake? Good cake. Good. Now, you never turn cake down.
I'm good at
All right. Thanks again, I appreciate it. I hope
Oh,
you
no,
all up
thank
on that.
you.
I hold you all up night. All day.
We give you a cake for retirement and then help you eat it all.
It's all good. We don't make a mess up here.
nope, not see. I'll bring you what's left to you.
Thanks again.
Good luck, Katie Gray.
Thanks very much.
See you. Happy holidays.
Same to you. Are you taking now?
I can.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Marty, I think you're up.
Not sure what's is the next one.
I recommend that for the vacant youth program, recreation program.
All right.
board.
Next up, we have, they're asking for approval to hire an individual for the youth programs recreation coordinator in the Parks and Rec Department at the annual salary listed below. This individual was interviewed by myself, Jill Coleman, and Myra Butler on October 30th. If you recall, this individual was recommended as the in the original first job that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and she's perfect to fill in for to be the second person. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably moving second to offer a position to the individual to fill a vacancy of youth programs recreation program coordinator in the Parks and Recreation Department as requested, pending successful completion of county pre-employment requirements. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried unanimously.
thank you. And lastly, here for approval to hire 2 individuals as MEO1s in the Public Works Department, County Roads Division, at an annual salary listed below. We advertised the first time and didn't receive any qualified applications. We advertised the second time, and we actually advertised online this time. We got 17 applicants. We put it out on Indeed, and Indeed auto-gens a lot of brief templates to us, so only 4 were qualified. We interviewed on November 28th. President of the interviews was Danny Bitter, Lee Layton, Danny Voschel, and myself. And we're recommending these 2 to fill 2 of the 3 vacant positions in the Roads Department.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moving second to hire the named individuals to fill vacant motor equipment operator positions in Public Works Department Roads Division as requested, pending successful completion of county pre-employment requirements. All those in favor say aye. Motion carried unanimously.
And lastly, you don't have a briefing template on this, and I apologize for not submitting one, but it slipped my mind, and for a matter of time, I want to revisit about the comp payout that we talked about last year. Last year, we changed the policy and decreased the amount of comp time that was able to be carried over. We decreased it to 80 hours. And in doing so, we offered, to pay that time out. And then we also offered to purchase up to 40 hours from individuals. At the time I asked for that to be a policy, you said that you wanted to be asked every year, which makes sense considering the budget. But I'd like to ask if that's a possibility this year. If you so choose to do that, then we would need to do it for the next payroll. So.
I thought we did that last year to correct the situation.
We did that last year. We dropped it to 80 hours a total, okay? At 80 hours, the payroll system will automatically take away the option for comp time and pay it out. So it's capped at 80 hours. As a way to recharge that, if individuals can cash in up to 40 hours of that, those with 80 hours could drop it back to 40, and it becomes an option for them in the next year, as well as at Christmas time providing an extra paycheck.
Can't go over
They
the
can't
80
go-
ever again.
No, the option isn't there once you hit 80 hours. It simply will pay time and a half for that time. So as a way to recharge that, if someone has 80 hours and they cash in 40, they would go into the new year with 40 hours and the ability to bank another 40. Yeah,
What's the previous ceiling, Marty?
240.
So we went from 240 to 80 last year.
And that remains on our books as a liability, so we dropped it down and we paid that out and got it off the books. And so now, theoretically, someone could cap at 80 hours during the year. This is a way to recharge. They could cash in 40, drop it to 40, and have that option again, as well as give them a week's pay at Christmas time.
Okay, but wasn't it also the incentive to
Utilize, the whole purpose was for them to utilize their,
vacation?
their comp
Not vacation, this is comp time.
time and accrued.
Well-
Not to use this as a savings account for Christmas.
Well, they have the option up to 80 hours, so again, during the year, it lowers their tax liability as well as is a little easier on the department. A lot of people won't do it. There's not many that would be eligible, but I had proposed it as a policy, and the three of you decided that I should ask every year. So I'm simply asking.
I don't have a problem. I misread last year's thought process of this. I did think it was so they would utilize and use their comp time, period. So they couldn't, because they wouldn't be able to bank it anymore up and get those kind of hours. And the incentive to me was that they would have to take it to stay under it regardless. Like next year, if they're carrying 80 hours over, then they'd have to use their comp time.
They won't get the option at 80 hours. They would simply be paid time and a half. When you go over 80 hours for the pay, or actually 40 hours if you're a non-exempt employee, at 40 hours, when you hit 40 hours, at the time that hits, a box pops up and asks you if you want to be paid or you want to bank it as comp. At 80 hours, the comp box never pops up, and the system would simply pay it out. We were carrying 240 hours. We asked that to the payout to be in June to allow 6 months for people to use the comp time, any additional comp time, as much as they could, and then simply be paid out. I find value in now them, if they reach 80 hours, to be able to cash it in, and then it would allow for a recharge period of 40 hours.
So next year they could do the same thing again. So it
Well,
just
they
is a
could.
lot.
The alternative, I mean, if they don't do that, they can simply check the box to be paid, and they would be getting it throughout the year.
All right.
So when 40 hours of comp time hits payroll, the system's going to look at it as that's a weekly amount of pay, and it's going to take a normal amount of taxes out of it. When you're in overtime, it's going to tax higher because it looks at every payroll and says, if you were to make this every pay period for the year, you would be in this tax bracket.
Did you budget for this?
No, I have no way to budget.
So-
It would be within each department.
So, but what happens is you have 50 people take it, and they want to be paid out for their Christmas, whatever time they want to use it. They take it, then we have to come back and do a budget adjustment internal here?
May.
No, 'cause they've already got overtime in their budget.
Yeah.
But themselves, then you don't, they wouldn't have to.
Yeah, and like I said, last year, we were, some people had 240 hours, and they cashed out, all the way down to 80. I don't know if that hit the general fund or not, but last year, as part of that,
There were no budget adjustments because of that.
so, and this year, the amount of people that are eligible for it would be, a lot less than last year. There'd be a lot less hours paid out.
They've earned it, and
Right. So moved.
I don't have a problem with it.
So moved.
I'm good.
All those in favor say aye.
Thank you. That's all I have, unless you have any other additional questions.
Great party Friday.
Thank you. Yes, everybody seemed to enjoy it. We got a lot of compliments, and it was a nice event. So the employees really appreciate it too. We had a lot of, obviously, that a lot of, about half of the people that received awards weren't there, so they've been coming into our office yesterday and today picking them up, and all of them, thank you and thank us for what we do, and then the fact that, they're recognized for those years of service, they really appreciate it. So,
Marty, that was a very nice event.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you to the commissioner.
Well organized.
Thank you. Lee and my staff does a lot of it, but we have a lot of meetings over what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Takes a lot of planning, but it's all well worth it.
Now you have a year to plan for the
And
next.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, a few things for you tonight. 2 items to start out of the Public Works Department. Both are truck purchases. There is money in the budget. The money has already been budgeted. The first item is a utility truck with a crane. Approximately $70,000 was budgeted off of the blanket purchase order, state blanket purchase order of 00B8. 4000168. Correct.
Okay.
They are requesting approval to purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Party move a second to purchase a 2018 Ford F-350. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried unanimously.
And second, again, for the roads department, and the budget, there is money in the budget for it, and through attrition, we are 1 truck shy in the wastewater department. 2018 Ram 2500, same blanket purchase order, state blanket purchase order, requesting approval to purchase from Pertrec.
Party move a second to procure a Type 7 3/4 ton pickup off the state contract. All those in favor say aye. Motion's carried unanimously.
The next 4 items are committee, council, commission appointments. This is some general housekeeping. The first is the Bay Bridge Monitoring Committee. There are letters in here to reconvene the committee and to add a member.
So moved.
Second.
Party moved and second to execute correspondence to the members of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Monitoring Committee and appoint a new member as recommended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried unanimously.
Next is the Behavioral Health Council, and this is as mandated by the annotated state code. There is a request to appoint a new member as the Prevention Services Coordinator.
So moved.
Second.
Party moved and second to appoint the named individual to the Behavioral Health Council. All those in favor say aye. Motion is carried unanimously.
Commission on Aging will have 4 vacancies as of the end of this month, December 31st, 2017. The recommendation is to reappoint 3 of the 4, but that does leave 1 vacancy. The 4th is to move on. So we will have a vacancy on the Commission on Agency.
Second.
Party moving second to reappoint the 3 recommended members. All those in favor say aye. Motion is carried unanimously.
And finally, for boards and commission is the Emergency Services Board. These are 3-year terms. 2 have expired as of the beginning of this month, and Both are willing to be reappointed if you so choose.
So moved.
Second.
Probably move a second to reappoint the recommended members to the Emergency Services Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously.
And the last action item under my section are a series of letters with the summary of the 2018 legislative initiatives that you went over with the delegation on September 26th.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
I think we should add one more. Ever since that little, well, maybe a couple more, but that little event that we had a few months ago about the solar array that the college is able to attach to and get an exemption from, whether it's a pilot tax, whatever it may be, I think somehow we should see if we can do some kind of legislation at the state level, and it's a benefit all counties, not just us, where that's, unless it's on their properties, that exemption should not apply through aggregate metering. And I think it's
Aggregate net energy.
yeah, aggregate net energy. Just because you got a corporate giant who owns the thing, then you've got a property owner that is part owner in the thing, and then you have a college that attaches name to, and they all get the exemption. Somewhere there's got to be some kind of crappy legislation or something that prevents that. Again, if Washington College had done something on their George Goes Green corner and put 30 acres out there, that's up to them, and use the aggregate median on something they own or on top of their buildings, however they do it. But to sit there and take an opportunity from our county or any other county, say the University of Maryland comes over here and says we're going to attach to one of these big solar companies that want to do something, and they're automatically given an exemption under that. And I don't think that's the way the exemption was
Well,
developed.
I don't think that the exemption, because the school or any other nonprofit is a nonprofit, they should still get the exemption, but no one else should. That.
Well, either way, figure out some kind of legislation where, because the program, whether it's they get their little percentage, they're not the ones paying for the project.
To be an NM project, and NM meaning aggregate net energy metering, they have to be an educational or nonprofit. There's a list of those that qualify. So not just anybody can qualify to be an NM project.
I know, but again, if it's our land that's being used for that in Kent County, there's got to be something. Our zoning or our laws, our rules are being, again, overshadowed because the state says, in the way they do it, that it's their ability to just say, it's like all the homes we lose or whenever you buy homes in town that have really nothing to do with education except putting an office in there. They get exemptions. I mean, it's just, I think somebody's got to start challenging some of this. I mean, our town is half, Churchtown's in here asking for $110,000 when property after property is being taken off the tax roll because the state qualifies it.
Well, that's a whole different argument. I think
They're all the same.
I think that schools, nonprofit schools, organizations who should not be taxed. That's part of our societal culture.
So you actually look at Washington College as being a
They are.
they're classified as a nonprofit, but they're charging upwards of
Doesn't
$48,000
matter.
for a
It
child to
doesn't.
go
It
there.
doesn't matter. They're a not-for-profit organization. It's the same as the American Red Cross or anything else.
So those guys, if they develop 100 acres of solar, they could do aggregate meeting to a National Red Cross building. Is that what we're saying? Because they're nonprofit?
If that falls within the letter of the law.
Okay.
But point to consider.
Okay.
What was there?
Yeah. Well, I guess it
Well,
I can address it.
I'm gonna bring this up for discussion, or actually for thought. This is an issue that has bothered me for a long time. And it has to deal with the use of bail in our criminal justice system. Okay. Bail is used in our society. I don't know what it's for, but it penalizes those that have less economic means. So they're incarcerated without a trial yet. Yet those that are well off can, quote, post bail and free and clear, as far as they're concerned. But that's the way I believe.
So I could offer a counterpoint, but I'll decline.
Having been in court and seen failures to appear.
Failure to appear has nothing to do with bail. Failure to appear is failure to appear. You have an appointment, you didn't keep your appointment.
Well,
Having bail is not going to
when
incentivize.
there's money on the line, that's an incentive to show up. It's a good discussion. There's a lot of different viewpoints on it.
Is that, I'm just asking, is this a legislative thing going to happen in Annapolis this year?
This is going to be, yeah.
It is. There's a big deal about pretrial with our detention centers.
The Attorney General, that's a priority for him. He does not believe in bail. I think that's fair to say. But there are reasons for bail, and having done, I spent the first 8 years of my career primarily doing criminal work. There are folks who fail to appear, and when there is bail, it does provide an incentive to show up because of what can be forfeited. And also, when there's bail posted, usually the bondsman doesn't want to lose that bail, and they take an active role in finding the person that failed to appear. And then when somebody fails to appear and the case doesn't go to trial, it becomes problematic when the person eventually is located, because when you have the passage of time, your witnesses may not be available for the court. So there are problems associated with failures to appear. So it's not a simple issue. I think there's a lot of merit in saying, well, system shouldn't favor somebody who has money. Why somebody who is well-to-do able to post bail and somebody that's not isn't? But then on the other hand, you do have to look at what can be done to reduce failures to appear, because they are problematic when they occur. And justice is
Understand.
served.
Or maybe just keep them all locked up and don't give them none bail.
There you go.
Well, but the problem is space.
Right.
Do a Joe Barrow on them, give them a tent city.
I mean, there
We're
are
going to need that
some,
pod quicker rather than
not in this county, but there are other counties, one in particular in the region, where the judge does a lot of no bail warrants and does high bails, and detention center has more inmates in it than what it's equipped to handle, and that there is a cost to that, and that is problematic.
That's a cost too.
Right. So
We got to come up with a better system.
yeah, I mean, what do you do? How do you have a system that ensures that people are going to show up for their trial so justice can be served, but at the same time is fair across the board? And it's a bit of a challenge. I believe that bail can be looked at to revise, but I think that there are times when bail is appropriate and necessary.
I said I wasn't going to offer my opinion, I just did.
Well, that one was on the house. Strike that from your hourly rate.
That's right.
But it was good advice.
Do you have any questions at all from you? Yes, sir.
I'm very touched that I've been missed.
We were sobbing. We were sobbing the last meeting. We did. All of us.
We were going to have a moment of silence for you, too. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to remind everybody that the PSC is having a hearing on yet another rate increase by DPL tomorrow.
Yes.
They're asking for the same amount of money that they were denied in
Last year.
February.
Of course.
Hopefully,
Yeah, you can.
Office of the People's Council would appreciate citizens coming in and speaking up. They always appreciate.
Yes. Bob?
Or zip from the regular street, William.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I think Elliot has something to say.
Elliot? Yes, sir.
You don't mind. I just want to bring everybody up to date. I want to make sure you know what we're doing. We don't want to go around anybody.
Who are you?
Make sure everybody's on board on what we're doing.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you who I am.
Okay.
Oh, my name?
Yes.
Oh.
For the record.
For the record, we can just record it.
Elliot Furman, Kennedyville, Maryland. I'm on the advisory board of an organization called Vision to Learn. It's a national company that goes into the schools, examines the kids in our vision van, writes scripts for their eyeglasses, and then in 2 weeks we give them free eyeglasses. They lose them, we replace them. Kent County will be the first county in the state of Maryland to participate in this program. Nationally, we've done over 100,000 kids. In the state of Maryland, 2 years ago, hooked up with Johns Hopkins, and they did 8,000 kids. But what they're doing more is testing the kids before they get the glasses and then testing them after they get the glasses. And they found out that they have a 20% increase in their math skills and other skills. So we go into schools that are Title I schools. Now in Baltimore, they're only going from the kindergarten to the 8th grade. I'm going to do from pre-K through the high school. And we can do about 25 kids a day. The nurse will be assigned, will examine the kids, or through the Lions Club, whoever they do it, and the kids that have needs, we then bring to the vision van. The optometrist inspects these kids, writes a script. They go back in the van, in the back, and they pick out a frame that they like, and then they get their free glasses in about 2 weeks. Now, what I'm doing, which may be a little bit different than what they're doing across the country, when I talk to them, I said, what is the number one problem? And they said, well, when we go back, we find that a lot of these kids don't wear them because they don't want to seem to be nerdy or something. So we're teamed up with the Ravens. And I'm teamed up with Ray Lewis. So I think that when we get the kids together, Ray will come here and give the kids the glasses. And then he'll give them an autographed picture and say, from your friend Ray. Now, if it's not going to be Ray, it'll be some of the other Ravens will come here. So I think when the kids get that, that's going to be tremendous for them. And we're really lucky to have the Ravens involved. And that's about it. The superintendent gave us a memorandum of understanding. She signed it. So we're ready to go. It takes us about 6 weeks to get on board. Then what the nurse has to do is get the memorandum of understanding to the kids that we're going to examine. And then when that comes back, we're good to go. And that takes about 4 or 5 weeks. I think I'm going to start in Rock Hall probably the end of March, beginning of April. And I think we could probably, unlike Johns Hopkins, which has taken 2.5 years, I think we can do the whole thing in about 2 months. Then they want me to go to Queen Anne County. So it's something positive for the schools, it's something positive for the kids, there's a lot of money involved, and what happened, the reason we can do it now, there's a young fellow who's in the IT business whose wife is an eye surgeon, and he has a little IT company called Facebook, and he put up $100 million. And he has guaranteed that he will give out glasses for over 2 million kids. So that means that we don't have to go to people, to pay for the glasses, because he's already guaranteed that. And hopefully, after it's done, I'm going to get a little sign that say, thank you, Dr. Zuckerberg and Mrs. Zuckerberg. And I think that that'll be really good for the county, and hopefully we can start there and get these kids rolling. And at least it's something positive for the schools, something that they can rely on. And if we do it right, I think you'll see math scores soar up.
How is this going to coincide with the Lions Club?
Lions Clubs,
They will be partners of us. What the Lions does, which is very good, they have a unit, I will give them one of mine, where they examine the kids and they give them a pass-fail. When they give them a fail, they say, here's a coupon, to go see somebody, and then maybe if the kid's really poor, they fund it. But when they give the kids a pass-fail, they send them to us in the vision van, and we give them the glasses for free in 2 weeks. And hopefully, we've talked to them, and I think it was Dr. Benjamin, I think they're all on board. You know, because I don't think that we could get these kids pre-examined without the Lions Club support to go and do it. And I think they start in February. That's why I'm figuring by the time we get the memorandum of understanding back from the kids, the end of March, beginning of April, I'm going to use the Ravens van to do it. We're bringing that down here. And then maybe eventually I can get my own van because they want to do the entire Eastern Shore. But Kent County is going to be the first county, because Baltimore's doing it, but that's the city. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And let's
Your
get...
van is going to be painted with a crow rather than a raven? Or
What?
a crow rather than a raven? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get one of the Ravens to drive the van.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Chaz Kabad? Okay, please. Come on up, please. Good evening, everybody.
I'm a long-time resident of Kent County. I left Kent County, came back, and my family's been here since the 1700s. So I'm from the Cotton family, and but the reason why I'm here is because I have a major concern with regards to the excessive water bill, sewer bill for the Butlertown, Wharton community. And what I did was I did some inquiring from the state representative in Congress. He referred me to come here to the county to see what can be done to be resolved, because there are a lot of elders and seniors that are being billed what I call criminal charges for water and sewer usage, which is they're paying every quarter. I think they're paying something like almost plus or minus $300 every quarter. And I expressed to the ladies in the office that I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in New York, I've lived in D.C., and I've never paid a water bill $300. And my reason for being here is to see if there's anything can be done, because there are a lot of my family and loved ones that are seniors that $300 every 3 months to pay for a water bill is extreme. And so I'm just here to plead with the board to try to get some type of assistance or adjustments or some fairness, because statistically wise, Butlertown is only, like, according to the 2010 Census Bureau, 500 people in the whole town, whereas Kent County is something like 20,000 people. And what I was saying, how is that realistic to bill those people with retirement incomes, low incomes? The median of their salaries is $25,000 or less in comparison to the medians of Chestertown and the surrounding areas of what they say median 65,000 and other comparisons. So I'm here to cry out for help. That's why I'm here. Because, like I said, I have a lot of people that don't have anybody representing them. And I think that, like I said, the ladies heard me this afternoon when I was there. I said that's criminal that they would have to pay $300 every 3 months for a water bill. So I reached out to Congressman Harris. He's told me to come before the board.
Okay. I don't know if you're aware of how first of all, everyone that's on gets water or sewer throughout the county pays the same rate. for county systems. So it doesn't matter if it's Butlertown or Eadsville or Kennedyville, same rate. To make it real simple, it's this way. The construction and the maintenance of the systems must be paid by the user. That said, the county has made it a policy to supplement that out of general revenue so that the bills are shared by all county residents, even those who are on well and septic to some extent. So these systems are very expensive to build and to maintain. And you have a very few people, when you say like New York or Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, these large systems, or even talking about Chestertown, where you have a similar water and sewer system, but yet it's maintained for 7,000?
Citizens, 5,000 citizens.
5,000 citizens. So you cover that cost over 5,000 people.
Where we only have 2,000 citizens on every one of our systems, public wide in the whole county. Like Wharton, that was just rehab for $14 million. We, like he was saying with water and sewer, we all taxpayers subsidize water and sewer by 27%. I think is the current rate. Outside of that, we've also not raised the water and sewer rates for 4 years out of the last 6 I've been here. I mean, it's difficult, but Chestertown's $400 and some. I'm one of them. But here, just to give you an example, out in Coventry, the developer actually, when he put that system in, we actually get a bill from that developer for an additional $686 a year. So we're in Coventry, even though we're Chestertown, we're still paying $1,100 and some a month or a year for the same thing that, we're part of Chestertown and we can't do anything different. So I feel for you. I would say we have another program set up, and I don't know if your family's aware of it, because we struggle getting people involved in it, which is the property tax rebate or subsidy, where the state gives them if you're $30,000 or less at county, you can have all your property taxes waived. You just got to come in and file out the proper paperwork, and so that we try to balance it and do the best we can.
I don't think a lot of people are aware that what you're just saying about my mother owns a property in Millington, and she makes less than that, and she pays tax every year.
Oh, absolutely. They just file. We advertise it.
It's out there if the people need to get the message. And we try all the time to get that message out about the property tax.
And if they qualify for that, then it can help them with their...
Okay.
If you go onto our website at kentgov.com and go to government and then finance, and you can call to us, and we can give you that information. We can send it to you in an email. But on that page, there's the homestead and homeowners property tax credit forms and information.
We tried very, very aggressively for a number of years to get people to aware, communicating with all the churches, nonprofit organizations, senior centers, every place to make people aware of the opportunities. Now, the reality is that our finance office is still an obligation that must be met financially. We have no choice in that matter. We don't want to, in the springtime, to put someone's property up for auction because they haven't been paid their water bill. And, a lot of people, 1/3 of the population of this county is over the age of 60, except for Bob. So, and they're on fixed income. And so that's...
And we raised it from $25,000 last year to $30,000 just to help those people that were... I guess that's because it's a weird number there. It's so many more people now qualify at $30,000 for, again, that's at the state level, they'd use $60,000, we use $30,000. Your property taxes, you go talk to your mother or your family members, they just come in and fill out some simple paperwork, and we submit it, and next year they don't pay it. And they could even get a year back.
And it's very simple. it's a very simple form. You can fill it out in 15 minutes.
Okay, what's that?
But I would add that the idea with the water and sewer systems, all those water and sewer systems basically cost the same amount to run per mile, and it's basic mathematics. I don't even know what Chestertown's water bill is, but I know it's the cheapest in the county, and it's cheapest because there's more people to pay into that. They get a smaller piece of the pie. Rock Hall is going to be the second cheapest. And Betterton, Millington, and Galena are going to be somewhere as close. And then the county, because it's so rural, it's going to be probably the most expensive. But it's just numbers of people is what drives that bill.
We run miles for 300 people, where Chestertown runs miles for 1,000 people. it's terrible.
But we hear you, though. We understand. We're sympathetic.
No, I mean, I understand the economies of scale and all of that. I understand the expense. But what I was speaking to was, if a person only has X amount of income,
right,
even though everybody's paying, like you said, an even amount, $300 to one person who has a low income is a whole lot more than what you said you paid $600.
At 1,100.
1,100.
Yeah, percentage of your income. Agreed wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, we floated an idea a few years ago in which we could look at those that are not of good financial means, how they could pay a lesser rate. The law will not allow us to do that. Everybody has to pay the same, unfortunately.
So that's why you adopt other things that potentially help them, which is like the property tax, which the law does allow. You try to do what you can do in all angles to make it work.
Okay, so with regards to the tax, can you, for those, because I have loved ones, I'm telling you that don't go to the internet. Okay, so I may have to be the person.
If they want to give the office a call, the finance office a call,
well,
send you a form.
They're not going to call. My mother's 78 years old. She's not going to. She's terrified of taxes in the whole 9 yards. She's not going to call a tax.
Office someday and tell the girls behind the counter what you need, and they'll find you an application. I assure you.
Hey, you could be their new liaison. You could stop up and get 50 copies and go to people.
Because she's not going to do it.
You have to.
And help other people that you know do the same thing that may not be, because we put it in the paper, may not be as inclined to have that understanding. Moving back here could be that.
Okay, what I'll do, if you could help me, tomorrow, I'll come by tomorrow. If you could put together a package for me, and I will go to various places and let them know about, is there a deadline for the applications for the taxes and so forth?
I think it has to be filled out by September.
But they will go retro the following
September 1st.
Following year. So it has to be filed by September for the state to accept it, the rest to accept it. But then if you miss this year, you can still file that, and that can be retro too.
So they'll still be liable for 2018 because you said September's the deadline.
And whether it's reimbursed.
At a certain age, they'll get their money back.
Yeah. 70 years old is when it really triggers in, but any time over the age 60, I think is
it 60? I think it's
62.
62.
They can start qualifying at that point, but age 70, the rules change again, where it's even.
Yeah, you get a refund.
Because I know I paid some of it myself out of my pocket, just to, so my mother wouldn't lose her house.
I agree.
So I mean.
Because it might be worth more than the water bill you're talking about.
Well, my mother doesn't have a water bill. She lives in the Milton Chesterville area.
It'll still be helpful if you able if she qualifies. And it's very few stipulations. You got to own the property, and you can't be renting from somebody. You got to own the property. You make less than what Billy said, $30,000, and you got to be 62 years of age, and that's the end of it.
That's it. She's got it. And some others. Okay. So. Okay.
Good.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anything else? Okay. Yeah,
Okay, and before I pass that over, I just want to report out that the Governor's Office for Crime Control and Prevention application for the state aid for police protection for FY19 has been submitted.
Everybody You got a follow-up or anything on anything?
Okay.
Okay, we need to go into closed session to consult with counsel and obtain legal advice on a legal matter.
Second.